The Bookshelf has always supported up-and-coming authors. On June 28, 2013, fantasy author Amy McCulloch gave a reading of her debut novel, The Oathbreaker's Shadow, to an enthusiastic audience in the bookstore.
This is my debut novel. It's a young adult action-adventure fantasy, and really I guess this novel represents sort of like a coming together of all my different parts. I mean, it was really inspired a lot by my parents who own Oriental carpet stores where all the knots symbology comes from, my travels, which is where I get the desert setting, and from my studies, which is where I learned about this wonderful nomadic culture and was really inspired by reading about Genghis Khan and how he managed to conquer sort of the largest land empire that there's ever been, and all of those sort of elements came together really to create this story. Here was a real sage, one who could make carpets fly. Now that caught Raim's attention, and Kare's too, by the hungry look on his face. But Batar Khan did not look impressed. No, from Raim's point of view he looked almost nervous, the tendons popping out on the back of his hands as he gripped the edge of his throne. "Arrest him!" The Khan waved his guards over, and they grabbed the man brusquely under the arms. "This man has a scar, and he is haunted. He is clearly an Oathbreaker. He was found heading away from Lazar in clear violation of his exile." He spat after the name, before settling his gaze back on the cowering man. "His sentence now is death." "No, please no!" The old sage struggled, but despite his magic, he was weak and frail and had no strength to rival that of the Khan's guards. "Stop! What are you doing?" Kare sprung forward and grabbed one of the guards. He turned to Batar Khan, still gripping a fistful of the guard's tunic. "Uncle, don't you understand what a gift this is? We could learn something from this sage." "Kare, step away." "I will not. By arresting this man, you're making a mistake." "Are you daring to question my judgment?" Batar Khan stood up and pulled himself to his full height, well over 6 feet. His enormous bulk only added to the impression of power he made as he strode over to where Kare stood. Compared to the slender Kare, he seemed a giant. "You may be the prince, but be careful with your words. I think you are a fool for doing this." Batar Khan responded by hitting Kare hard over the face. "You would disrespect me so?" he roared. "I told you to take him away," he said to the guards. Then he turned on the rest of the crowd. "Everything that has passed here in this room today will remain a secret. You will all knot for this. Now." They could not refuse the Khan. Raim watched as every person in the room, every guard and advisor, and even Kare, removed long pieces of thread from their belts and chanted in unison after Batar Khan. "Our eyes today have seen nothing. Our lips will let pass no information of what has happened here. For this you have our solemn vow. This promise shall be fulfilled after 3 circles of Naran." Then each rushed forward and knotted their vow to the Khan's long cloak, joining the thousands of promises that already fringed his royal robe. Raim was shaking. Although he too had been a witness, he was too young to make a vow of any kind. He had not yet reached honor age, and so could not make a true promise to anyone. He was scared enough, though, not to let any of what he had seen slip from the room. He sneaked a glance at Batar Khan and saw an emotion on the Khan's face he didn't expect to see. Fear. But then he caught sight of Kare's face, dark and glowering, black eyes narrowed in anger. Kare was ready for revenge. Raim wouldn't exchange being in the Khan's boots for all the riches of Darhan. Only Kare would dare challenge the Khan like that, but no one would dare challenge Kare without living to regret it. She's so adorable.
Thanks much to Amy McCulloch for reading at the Bookshelf. To purchase The Oathbreaker Shadow and other great books, visit us at the Bookshelf or catch us online at www.bookshelf.ca.